We got to let the stream breathe for just a second here. Make sure that everything is nice and stable all across the YouTube platform. Welcome in Broncos country to this Denver Broncos Syndicate post-game show after your Denver Broncos escape with a 13-11 win over the New York Jets in London. London games, man, they are always screwy. They always have some sort of weird element to them, and this game was no different. The Denver Broncos repeatedly tried to shoot themselves in the foot. Too many penalties on the offensive side of the ball, especially from one party in particular, not Parrott. It was not good. Garrett Bowles had that holding call in the end zone for a safety. Absolutely inexcusable. That handed the New York Jets 2 points. Matt Parrott's penalties basically handed the New York Jets 6 points. So the Jets basically only scored 3 points. The Denver Broncos handed them 8. Absolutely ridiculous. But the Denver Broncos, at the end of the game, were able to get a stand on that final drive thanks to their defense, and they came away with the victory. We got Jason Yale in the house saying, terrible play calling. Listen, I'm one who is very quick to defend Sean Payton's play calling. I think Sean Payton's play calling has gotten a lot of crap here in Broncos country unnecessarily. His play structuring and his play sequencing is genuinely good. But I cannot defend what I saw today. Some of his third down calls were just egregiously bad. I mean, the third down call where you are running it with Adam Prentice, what are we doing? The Jaleel screen, what are we doing? Then, I believe on second down, that's when he decided to hand it off to Marvin Mims. That was another one. What are you doing, Sean? So, yeah, today will be a day that I cannot justify Sean Payton's play calling. Mickey in the house saying 8 sacks. We actually had 9 sacks. Jason said that in the chat. Yeah, we had 9 sacks. Absolutely insane. That's the most sacks that the Broncos team has had since the 1980s. The only time they've had more was 10 sacks. They did that back in the 1960s. Nuts. Absolutely nuts. Some of these sacks were on Justin Fields holding on to the ball too long, not finding the open receiver in time, but there were other sacks like the one that Nick Benito had where it was just a quick win off the line of scrimmage. There was nothing that Justin Fields could do on that one, but speaking of Justin Fields, he was horrible today. I'm just moving my phone so I can read these stats here. 9 for 17 for 45 yards passing, 2.6 yards per attempt, no touchdowns, no interceptions, a net passing yards of -10. He took 9 sacks for 55 yards. Yikes. That's one of the worst quarterback performances probably in modern football history. We got Devin saying Bo Nix played well. He did. He definitely did. The numbers probably won't blow your socks off. 19 for 30, 174 yards, 5.8 yards per attempt and 1 touchdown. Only took 1 sack, but in the second half, the Broncos didn't possess the ball much. They were trying to run the football. They were committing to the ground game. Fans wanted them to commit to the run game. They were doing that. It wasn't really working for them. Bo Nix, I do wish, had more opportunities there in that second half, but sometimes that's just the way that the game flows. But on third down, Sean Payton could have put the ball in his hands a couple more times. Otherwise, I thought Bo played really solid. The run game was not very good for the Broncos today, and unfortunately, at least some of that is a product of not having Ben Powers out there, in my opinion. J.K. Dobbins had 14 carries for 40 yards, 2.9 yards per carry. Bo Nix was your second leading rusher, 5 carries for 24 yards. They've tried in previous games to get R.J. Harvey going, but he's just super raw, and he isn't going to really contribute much at this point, I would say. He only got 2 carries for 4 yards. They got Evan Ingram involved in the run game on a jet sweep. He got 7 yards on that, set the Broncos up for second down and manageable. Adam Prentice, 1 carry for 3 yards. In the receiving game, Evan Ingram's best day as a Bronco overall. 5 receptions for 42 yards, made some big catches on third down. Marvin Mims, 2 catches for 30 yards. Nate Atkins, 2 catches for 23 yards, and a wide open touchdown on a busted coverage. So that was really nice to see. Pat Bryant, 2 catches for 22 yards. Also had a killer false start in a frustrating sequence where the Denver Broncos were set up with a second down I believe it was a 2nd down and 1, or it might have even been a 3rd down and 1. Pat Bryant has a false start. It knocks him back 5 yards. Then on a 3rd down and 6, it was 3rd down because it was 3rd down and 6 after that, they ended up having a holding penalty on Matt Parrott, one of Parrott's many penalties today, and that basically cost the Broncos right there. They ended up not scoring on that drive. When they were moving, they had momentum, and that's when it kind of felt like the momentum was shifting away from the Denver Broncos. We got big task at hand saying, but what about Jackson Dart? I mean, we're going to talk about that, don't get me wrong, but it's the 24-hour rule here. We're going to celebrate the win. This was a good win because it was a game that the Denver Broncos, they were fighting. Don't get me wrong. They didn't play well in certain moments, but in the fourth quarter, when it mattered most, they found a way to get the job done. That's what good football teams do. We got Mickey saying, don't forget to give a thumbs up. Absolutely. Please do me a favor and give a like on this stream as well as subscribe to the channel. I would really appreciate it, guys. Those are both free and easy ways to show your support. It helps tell YouTube's algorithm to push us out, and it helps us get seen by more and more members of Broncos country just like you and me. Additionally, if you guys want to go above and beyond in supporting the channel, please consider becoming a channel member today. I would really appreciate it. It's not mandatory whatsoever, but if you guys want some extra perks and incentives in exchange for helping me out and helping the channel grow, I would really appreciate it if you would consider it. Again, the link is in the description below. Dan says, I know my blood pressure was up today. There were some points where mine was up too. I mean, you guys saw it in the stream. So, yeah, the Broncos definitely had some frustrating moments today, but they did what good teams do. They found a way to get the job done. Big task. We'll talk about the New York Giants throughout the week. Don't get me wrong, but today I want to focus on this win. Again, it's the 24-hour rule. Jonathan says, random question, is Lewis Hamilton still an owner? What does he do? He is still an owner. I think he's just around from like a financial perspective. He might be a part of some of the meetings, but obviously he's super busy with his F1 career, so I don't think that he does a whole lot with this team. It's more just a financial backing, and he gets to say he's part owner of the Denver Broncos. Exactly, Jonathan. A win is a win. Moving back into some of these stats here for the Broncos, we've got Troy Franklin with a really bad fumble. On the first offensive possession for the Denver Broncos, Troy Franklin just puts it right on the ground. I mean, that was just a super frustrating play. Bo Nix did a great job on that play, extending it, getting out of a would-be sack by Jermaine Johnson, but Troy Franklin tried to turn up field before he caught it, and he put it on the ground. Then there was another play where it looked like the New York Jets had a fumble of a very similar nature. I believe it was Garrett Wilson. Yes, it was, and they ruled that one an incomplete pass. The officiating in this game, I know some fans are going to blame it, but at the end of the day, the Broncos put themselves in bad positions time in and time out. Matt Parrott with his holding calls, Garrett Bowles with his holding call in the end zone for a safety. That was egregiously bad. So those were just self-inflicted wounds for the Denver Broncos that we cannot deal with. Overall, a win is a win, absolutely. Did Bo Nix get sacked? He did get sacked once. Looks like McCoy's coming to Denver. McCoy who? Yeah, McCoy who? Oh, Eric McCoy? Yeah, it might happen. Saints are getting cooked with that terrible defense. Yeah, I think that the Saints are going to maybe ride this out for another week or two, but I'd love to get McCoy here personally. That would stabilize your center situation. And then with Luke Wattenberg, you can think about moving him to guard for the time being. That way we can get Matt Parrott out of the lineup. Regardless, we're definitely going to make a video about Matt Parrott today because you can't keep playing him. He's a liability on the offensive line. Decent enough in pass protection. I only noticed him like once or twice in pass pro, but in run blocking, he sucked. He was getting blown up off the line, and we talked about how in the preseason and training camp, Calvin Throckmorton really was playing well, especially as a run blocker, so it's something that I really would like the Denver Broncos to consider. It would be a better day if the Chiefs and Chargers lose today. Well, right now we've got the Chargers down 7-3 to the Miami Dolphins. They are moving the ball though. It's a 3rd down and 2 for them. And then obviously we've got the Chiefs playing tonight. I wonder how Wattenberg would do as a guard. His rookie season, it wasn't good. He did play some guard in relief of when Dalton Reisner got injured, and yeah, it wasn't particularly great. So, I don't know. Maybe he's just a pure center, but at this point, you can do a lot better than what you're doing right now on that offensive line with Matt Parrott. He was a liability today. He single-handedly handed the New York Jets 6 points. I mean, 2 of those field goals were thanks to Matt Parrott penalties that killed Broncos drives. You just can't have it, man. He's a liability. He's getting blown up off the ball. Quinnen Williams blew him up in pass protection at least once. I'm going to go back and watch the film and see how it actually looks, but yeah, man, not great. You've got to think about pulling Matt Parrott out of the lineup. Did we have any passes down the middle today? None that I can recall off the top of my head, but again, I'll have to go back and watch the film. Everything's still kind of circling through my brain. I'm still trying to get over like the emotions of everything and all that stuff. So yeah, I'll tell you that after I go and rewatch the game. I'll be doing that this afternoon. That is one benefit of these early games is I can go back and get my rewatch done before the night's over. Sometimes, especially if it's a late game, I'm up till 3, 4 in the morning watching the TV copy, then got to get up and make any corrections that I need to make via the All-22. There's some plays like I'll put a note down. Okay, I need to see the All-22 on this play to fully get a grasp of what happened. There are other plays where you can tell pretty clearly what's going on just the broadcast copy. So that's kind of a little insight into my film study habits there. And that's something that we're going to be able to get done a lot quicker here. But let's go ahead and talk about some defensive stats here. Alex Singleton was your leading tackler with 7, also had a TFL. Brandon Jones had 7 tackles as well. Riley Moss with 6 tackles and a TFL. Nick Benito, 6 tackles and 1 sack. 1.5 sacks for Justin Sternad. Brandon Jones also had a half sack. Talanoa Hufanga with a sack. Jonathan Cooper with 2 sacks, including the sack that called game. Ini Uwazurike with a sack. Zach Allen with a sack. John Franklin Myers joined the sack party against his old team. So it really was a sack party for the Denver Broncos. Everybody was getting involved. That was really awesome to see. As far as other noteworthy stats, Talanoa Hufanga had a pass deflection. So did Zach Allen. Pat Surtain had 2 pass deflections, including a key PBU on 3rd down. D-Rock says, we're not moving as one. This unit is lopsided. Agreed. 1 week it's the offense, 1 week it's the defense. Today, special teams really brought the team down. I mean, big time. You had that big return that the New York Jets had early. You had a couple of bad returns from Marvin Mims. You had a couple of other big returns after that from the New York Jets. I mean, just inexcusably bad Broncos country. Jeremy Crawshaw did have a couple of nice punts. That was nice. But you had the Jets that pinned you back deep on a punt, and then that resulted in a safety. So special teams played a part in today's game, and it was the reason why the Denver Broncos were in the position they were in. But again, they came away with the win today. Some fans are acting like they lost. They didn't. They found a way to get the job done, which I can promise you, previous iterations of the Denver Broncos, even last season, the Denver Broncos probably wouldn't have found a way to win this game. They found a way to win it today. The defense closed it out. So you got to tip your cap to them. They're finding ways to win, even in tough games like this where it's not exactly going your way. Oh, Jesus. There we go. Sorry about the zoom in on my mouth right there. Film junkie as well. Right on, Bronco fan. Love it. We need more film junkies in this community. Yes, special teams 70%, offense 30%. And I got to say as well, none of the faults of today were on Bo Nix. Bo Nix played a damn good game for all 4 quarters. Only missed 1 throw. That was the touchdown to Cortland Sutton. He did overthrow that one. That's a miss, but you'll take just 1 miss from Bo Nix on the day. He played really well. I didn't think he was put in the best position to be successful. So the Broncos offense overall, I've heard this comparison before. It feels like this offense is constipated sometimes. They just can't get that shit out, man. It feels like this offense, they get too cute sometimes. Sean Payton with his play calling, I've defended it so many times, but today, his play calling just was not good, especially on those third down plays. The screen to Jaleel, like, what are we doing, bro? Seriously. It felt like we were just getting Jaleel involved for the sake of getting him involved right there. Same thing on that handoff to Marvin Mims. I want to say that one was on second down. That was stupid. The handoff on third down and 10 to Adam Prentice. What the hell was that, Sean? Seriously. So, there's plenty of criticism for Sean Payton in this game, and I will be the first to give it to him. I'm not normally somebody who believes Sean Payton's play calling has been the issue, but today I would say it was. Just when you think the defense was getting tired, they go out there and punch you in the teeth, and in the end they get the win. Exactly. Mickey says, I feel like we lost. Well, we didn't. That's the thing. The Denver Broncos won. They're 4-2 right now. They're 2 games above 500, and if the Dolphins end up beating the Chargers today, Denver will have sole possession of first place in the AFC West. When's the last time we could say that? Like, seriously. D-Rock says we're not a Super Bowl caliber squad at the moment. I agree. I think there's some moves that the Broncos could make, including getting Eric McCoy, that could make them a Super Bowl squad, but I would agree they're not there yet. Bo did struggle in the third quarter. I don't think so. Like, he just wasn't really put in a position to be successful there with some of the play calling in that third quarter. Shout out Evan Ingram. Indeed. Yes, this game was way too close. Some fans have no problem with how he won, but it's an inconsistent team, a Jekyll and Hyde offense. I get it. Trust me, I get it. I want this offense to put together a consistent game for all 4 quarters, but I would say that the faults of the offense today were not on Bo Nix. Doesn't matter. 49ers winning the comp this year anyway. We'll see, man. We'll see. Lone Wolf says, I threw up on my mouth watching this nightmare. The offense was a Denver nursing home. They want a new stadium. How about an old Kmart parking lot? Too many self-inflicted wounds. The penalties on Matt Parrott were just inexcusable. And yes, the play calling was a little bit questionable. No moral victories from the other team. Absolutely. Yeah, it's been years, and I mean many years, that we could say the Denver Broncos won a game like this where they didn't play their best football, but they still found a way to get the job done. Bo did not do anything wrong. He was given shit by the play calling and penalties. Exactly. He was just put in a pretty bad position, to be honest. The play calling, I've been very quick to defend it, like I've said, but today it simply wasn't good enough. We're still early in the year, and we're still tuning up for the end run. Exactly. And this team, man, they're 4-2. They're in a really good position right now, even though they're not playing their best football. That's a good thing. That means they're still finding a way to win football games. Yeah, even the sack at the end, like, the play wasn't there, nobody was open. I'd rather you take a sack in that situation than throw the ball incomplete and stop the clock. So, yeah, that worked out in Denver's favor. Big T says, at least we didn't lose to a last-second field goal again. Yeah, progress. This team was able to get a stop when they needed to, and they were able to hold the Jets. They couldn't even get into field goal range on that one. Well, I'd say they were right on the cusp of it, and realistically, they probably should have tried that field goal, but yeah. The New York Jets, lots of game management blunders today. The end of the half where they get aggressive and they call that fake punt. Mind you, they call it after they burn a timeout, and then they get the fake punt, they get the first down off of it, then they run the ball, they get sacked, and then they let the clock run out. Like, what are you actually doing, dude? And then the end of the game, not kicking that field goal. The Jets have had just some really questionable game management decisions this year, and it was no different in this game. Who do we get for Ben Powers' replacement? I'd like him to go out and trade for Eric McCoy. That will stabilize your center position, and then maybe you can move Wattenberg to guard, or maybe you could bring in a Calvin Throckmorton. Dean says, where's Dalton Reisner when you need him? Dalton's not good, man. He's just not. He's currently a backup in Cincinnati. He started the year. He was terrible, and then he got benched. Can the Broncos get to Jackson Dart next week? The answer will decide the game. Agreed, but we'll talk about the Giants next week. It's the 24-hour rule. I'm going to enjoy this victory that we got because it was a good victory. Yeah, the Giants pass rushers, that is going to be a little bit of a worry. Parrott was clearly the weakest link. He nearly cost us the game. I agree. We're going to be making a video probably right after we get off of here because I do believe Matt Parrott needs to be benched. He was a big-time liability out there. Our defense, I'm not concerned about. It's our offense that could lose the game next week. They could, especially with how tough this Giants defense has been playing, especially their defensive line going up against Denver's offensive line, which have had some signs of weakness over these past couple of games, especially now with Ben Powers not in the lineup. So that's my biggest concern. But again, I really want to focus on that more throughout this week as opposed to today. We've got Eli saying, "Go Broncos, good to see you." And somehow we got a Cowboys fan stumbling in here, Cliff, saying, "Go Cowboys, go Cowboys, go Cowboys." How are the Cowboys doing right now? How are they doing against the Panthers? 10-3 over the Panthers right now in the second quarter. Eli said the play calling is so weird. Yep, there were some really weird play calls today. The Jaleel screen, the Prentice handoff on 3rd down and 10, the handoff to Mims. Those 3 plays I can pinpoint and say, yeah, those were some really questionable play calls for sure. All right, guys, we're going to go ahead and start winding this thing down here, and I will get on some videos. The first one is going to be Matt Parrott, definitely. Before we get out of here, guys, if you could just do me a big favor and smash the like button on this stream as well as subscribe to the channel, I would really appreciate it, guys. Those are both free and easy ways to show your support. It helps tell YouTube's algorithm to push us out, and it helps us get seen by more and more members of Broncos country just like you and me. Additionally, if you guys want to go above and beyond in supporting the channel, please consider becoming a channel member today. I would really appreciate it. It's not mandatory whatsoever, but if you guys want some extra perks and incentives in exchange for helping me out and helping the channel grow, I would really appreciate it. Link is in the description below. Dan says they might have been calling a vanilla offense this week for next week's game. Very possible. It is very possible. Whisper says, who cares? The Broncos won. We got the first seed in the AFC West right now. Life is good to be a Bronco fan right now. Indeed. We will leave it at that, Broncos country. And until next time, I'm your host, Gage Madrid, saying peace out.